Hey, it's Terry Givens again here with part 2 of my video describing my thyroid disease experience. This one is called What It Feels Like to Be Sick. Right, so if you need all the details as to what happened, that's in another video when I be covering all those details here. I am making this video specifically about what it felt like to be sick, right? Because granted, mine was caused by an autoimmune thyroid disease that I kind of sort of caused myself, but I do not want this video to be about a thyroid sickness. I want it to be really about what it felt like to be sick, right? Because I went through this experience for the last year and a half where I just did not feel like myself, and I couldn't seem to figure out what the hell was going on for a while, and it didn't seem like anybody else had experienced this. But now that I have come out the other side, I'm back to normal after a lot of hard work and taking responsibility in my own hand. Now tons of people are telling me, Terry, this is exactly the same thing I'm feeling, the same thing I'm experiencing, and my doctors couldn't validate it, and no one seemed to understand the experience, and you describe it perfectly. And I'm like, how the hell am I the only guy that can describe this stuff that these people are experiencing, that I know millions of other people are going through? So I'll kind of jump right in, right? It was around March 2016 is when I started first noticing my first symptoms of just being super tired, taking 3 and 4 hour naps every damn day, waking up after a long night's sleep, still just dragging my ass. I couldn't get out of bed. And you know, the good thing for me is I keep two things. One, I keep a food diary, which is just a little entry in my calendar every day where I write down what I ate, what supplements I took, how I felt, and what was going on generally with my body. So I've been keeping that since 2009. Not every single day, but I would say about 80% of the days I kind of keep some sort of entry when I'm experimenting with different foods, supplements, cleanses, or whatever. So I could refer back and kind of remember what I was experiencing. And I keep a general journal, right? This is not a journal where I'm writing in what girl I thought was cute and how long my hair was and what I want to be when I grow up. It's a journal more of like if you're taking a class in school and you have a notebook and you write down the important stuff so that when the test comes up, you're ready and you'll need to dig through, you know, a whole semester of material. That kind of notebook, I have a notebook like that for my life. And I put in, you know, videos that I thought were impactful, quotes from books I liked, important events in life, my thoughts, my ponderances, or whatever at the time. So I keep a journal as well, because there will be a test at the end, and damn it, I'm going to be ready. So I could refer back to these things to share in this video because, as I mentioned before, every day that goes by, now that I'm better and stronger and healthy, it is so hard to remember what it felt like to be sick, right? And it's amazing. Like if I'd have made this video maybe 2 weeks earlier, it would be even more fresh in my mind. I remember telling a friend of mine about the difference of what it was like to wake up in the morning now versus what it was like to wake up a year ago. I hope it's not too windy, by the way. But I remember waking up a year ago and the alarm would go off and I would wake up immediately unhappy because I couldn't find the joy in the day. I couldn't find the value of getting out of that bed that day to do something. And you know, I had a great job there. I had a great following on my Reset Your Body community, so I had a lot of reasons to wake up and impact the world, but I just felt like, fuck, what's the point of getting out of bed right now? It's just, I didn't look, every day was a Monday. Every day was a really bad Monday. So versus when I wake up today, I am like, let's do this damn thing, right? I want to get up, I want to impact some lives, I want to do whatever. Maybe I just want to go play some volleyball. Maybe I want to just walk around this amazing lake here. Look at this lake right here. Look at this lake. Look at this lake right here. But I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to a year ago, you wake up and it was being sick, man. It's like watching your body, like watching yourself, like playing one of those video games where you're driving a car in a video game and there's like first party perspective where your hands are on the steering wheel, you can see through the windshield and you're driving the car. But when you're sick, I felt like I wasn't even in the car. I felt like I was watching someone drive the car and it wasn't even me. Like those experiences, the decisions, the reactions, none of that felt like it was me at all. So, and unfortunately I keep this food diary so I could go back through time and I could see myself as I was getting sick, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I was trying, I'd have journal entries like, took 2-hour nap today and be a sad face. I was sad. And so I was trying to take this food out and add that food in and try this tincture and put this different type of oil in there to see if it's just some toxic overload, my flooding my body with something that I shouldn't have in there. And I could just see the frustration in my food diary as I look back in time as not being able to figure it out. Doing parasite cleanses and going to different therapists and going to doctors in LA. I mean, I was $1,500 or $2,000 deep and specialists to try to figure out what the hell is going on before I finally went to the doctor and asked specifically for a thyroid test. Now, mine was thyroid specific, but being sick is being sick. So don't get too caught up in the diagnosis. Get caught up in the fact that you might be experiencing a version of yourself that's not really the authentic you. And it's been so long, you forgot what you feel like. I remember telling my mastermind group, I said, because for me, my experience was for 6 months, I really noticed my illness, like bad. It got to the point where things were just really bad. I was depressed, couldn't wake up, just constantly tired, no motivation, super negative, massive brain fog. Heart beating like crazy, lost 25 pounds, right? It was just bad. And so that really just kind of accelerated over 6 months. And then for 6 months, I got better once I figured out what was going on. And then, as you'll see in the first video I made, I kind of messed up. And 6 months after that, it was all back, restarted that shitty cycle again of getting sick. So I was only really hardcore deep sick for about 6 months, but about a year of the experience. And I can't imagine someone out there that has been suffering for like years or decades. I got to keep switching hands because I'm holding my damn shoulder up like this for hours, like the Statue of Liberty, and I ain't that strong. Yeah. So that one really happened for me for a solid straight 6 months, and then another 6 months of being good, and then 6 months of being bad. But I lost my identity. Like, I kind of forgot who I was for a while, because I'm used to being the guy that's positive and uplifting and fit and strong, and people look up to me and I inspire them, and I always see the silver lining, and I'm intelligent and I can figure things out. Like, that's my identity, who I hold myself to be as Terry Givens. But when I was sick, I wasn't any of those things. So the biggest confusion for me was like, who the hell am I? Right? If I'm not these things that I think I am to be a person, who am I? And I start to re-identify myself with being tired, right? With being frustrated, with being annoyed, with being overwhelmed. And I remembered those were the emotions that were the most prevalent when I was sick. Like, I remember every little thing was just overwhelming to me. Like, cleaning the damn dishes was just, oh my God, this seems like the most overwhelming task in the world. Or when people would invite me to go places and do things, I was like, man, I don't have time. I don't have time. And in reality, I had all the time in the world, but it just seemed like there was no way I could add one more thing to my plate, because I just seemed so overwhelmed and crushed down by what's called living, just doing average, everyday stuff. So I felt massively overwhelmed. I was super negative. Like, I felt like everything out of my mouth was super negative and not uplifting, right? Like, my relationships with my friends and family, I was snapping at people. I couldn't even understand, why am I so frustrated and irritated and annoyed right now over things that I can normally handle very well. So I remember just being massively overwhelmed and snappy with people. I remember not having a very clear, positive vision of the future. Like what is the purpose? Why am I getting out of bed today? Like, this seems like I'm on this hamster wheel of life and I'm not getting where I want to be. I just remember that being a very prevalent thought. And then, of course, with that comes major depression, right? Depression where, like, you just start having these really dark thoughts. Like, you know, when I'd be somewhere high up, I'm like, what if I just jumped off? I mean, like, and I wouldn't like reach over and try to do it, but it was just these thoughts like that. They just didn't fit with a person that feels like there's going to be a bright tomorrow. If you feel like tomorrow's going to be dark, and the day after that's going to be dark, and every day after that's going to be dark, what the hell is the purpose? It was kind of my mindset, because it just, being sick is a whole different place. And you might be able to relate to this, you might not be able to relate to it, but it is not you. It is not the real, authentic, powerful, strong, thriving you. It is that sickness that has changed your identity and it's changed your perspective as to what the truth is. Looking at my thoughts now versus those thoughts before, that's a whole different, that was not Terry Givens. That was Yurt Vinistis. That's my name backwards, kind of, sort of. But that wasn't the truth. And it's important that you remember that is not the truth, right? That's just a very bad perspective. That's when the chemicals in the brain are off. That's when there is not a balance in things, and that's when you can do something about that. But it's important to know that. And I was constantly listening to personal development audios, right? I listened to Jim Rohn to keep me fired up. I tried listening to some Les Brown. I would listen to Tony Robbins, like, because I knew in the back of my head, like, this can't be right. So I was constantly listening to things to remind me of the truth, remind me of the potential, the possibility, the optimism out there, because I didn't have it in my brain at all. It wasn't even there, but I knew it was out there. So, you know, I made myself listen to those type of audios, but I didn't even want to do things I normally do, like read books. I am an avid reader. Just by using the word avid, you can tell I'm an avid reader. And I didn't read one book, I don't think, over that year. Didn't want to read. Now I'm back to reading. Had a nice session watching a lightning show the other night on my balcony here in Austin, Texas. Get me some sci-fi in. But I didn't want to do the things I normally wanted to do. And I am fortunately very stubborn, very persistent, very hard-headed, and I kept experimenting with things that should work to fix me, because I'm a strong believer. I believe with every shred of energy in my body, I believe that the human body is trying to do two things at all times. It's trying to build and it's trying to heal. And I knew if I can figure out what was going on, I could heal it. And I remember July, maybe I don't remember. It was June or July 20th of last year is when I got the final diagnosis from the doctor that it was a autoimmune hyperthyroid disease. And that just gave me such a weight off my shoulder and such clarity. Like, now I know what I'm fighting. Some people already know what they're fighting. It already has a name, and so they can kind of target it a little more. But for me, that helped me get the clarity I needed to, one, figure out that I had done it, which empowered me to know that I could undone it. So, and then I could figure out, I kept in my journal entry, it took me about 2 months, and I wrote in my journal, I said, feeling restless again. Feeling restless again was what I wrote. What does that mean? That means I didn't want to stay in the house anymore. I didn't want to lay in the bed. I would lay in the bed for hours, which then would make my back hurt because you're laying in the bed, which is terrible for people in hospitals. Just laying there, your back's just getting weaker and weaker and atrophying by the moment. But I remember laying in the bed, which would make my fucking back hurt like crazy. And I would just want to sit around the house. I didn't want to associate with any of my friends. Then my friends started thinking I don't like them, and I love my friends. It was too much stress to be around people, which is another thing. It comes from being sick. It's not a normal human condition. But now I was restless again. I wanted to go out. I wanted to do things. I wanted to be in places. I wanted to experience the world. I wanted to touch, feel, smell. So I remember that after about 2 months after I started targeting going after my particular illness. So, I hope that was of some use to someone out there, that if you're experiencing some of those things, that is not you. That is not your true reality. That is a sickness-induced mindset. And once you fight, kick, scream, battle against what is making you sick, you will go back to feeling what you recall as the old you. It is possible. It is not a thing that has long gone because of age, because of time, because this is how it is, and it's just who I am. Forget that. That is the biggest BS in the world. All you have to do is remind yourself that what you're experiencing now is not you, and then do shit every day to get back to normal. Hell or high water. I remember taking a week off of work. After I figured out, got the diagnosis, I said, I'm taking a week off. This job is awesome, but my health is even better. So I took a week off of work just so I could focus on how do I get better? What do I do? I need a plan of attack. I need to figure this thing out. And I scheduled that week off of work. You might not be able to take a week off of work. So your job might be killing you. And now you have a decision to make. You have a choice. There's jobs out there that will pay you money and not kill you at the same time. Do something about it. My opinion. So just remind yourself that those emotions are not you. They are the cause of an imbalance. They will go away. You will be back to normal. You will be able to inspire others. You will live out your purpose on this planet Earth. You will have a function. Your children are watching. Your family's watching. Someone needs you to get better and live up to your mission. Your job is just to hunker down, go through the sacrifice, because it ain't going to be easy. The easy thing to do is just keep on coasting and just slowly let this thing take your life force, your energy, your mojo. So, sorry about that. My aunt just called on my iPhone, which I am filming on, and apparently that just screws up your entire video. But in wrapping everything up, the importance is, it's important to just keep that perspective, to understand that when you're sick, you're not thinking as well as you should as when you're not sick. And when you are well, you're going to forget what the hell it was like to be sick. So remain humble. Keep those journals. Keep a food diary. Write down what you're eating, how you're feeling, what you're taking, how it's affecting you. Keep a journal. You can put links that are very important as life lessons. Maybe this video will be one of those links. And you can compare those two so you can look back in time, because your emotional state of the day is going to overrule whatever your memory is of that time. And it's important to keep a static record of it. Now I'm going to make one more video that breaks down exactly what I did to repair, fix, get back to normal, who I talked to, what doctors did what, minerals I took, how I detoxified, etc. That'll be in the next video. That I'll break all that down. That part's easy for me to remember. It's the emotional state. It's the mentality, the mindset that changes dramatically when you're sick. And I wish I'd captured that, a couple months ago, because man, it was fresh and raw. But take your life into your hands. Take responsibility. It will not be easy. It will be hard. You will say, man, this is hard. And at that point, you keep going. We do not stop things because they are hard. That is not why we stop. We stop when we are done. So make sure that you fight, you push, you scream, you scratch, You battle this thing because you're worth it. Your family's worth it. Your children are worth it. Everything is riding on you living up to what you're here for. I was telling a friend of mine the other day, I said that once you kind of figure out why you're here on planet Earth, which I feel like I have figured that out, my job is to restructure our U.S. food subsidy policies, right? Our food is killing us, it's making us fat, just to save some bucks. It's dumb. But now that I've kind of had that clarity, I feel like every day I'm not doing something towards my life goal, I'm letting the universe down. And that's my honest opinion. I'm letting the universe down when I'm taking a day and not working towards my life mission. I think that makes me inauthentic on those days. So that drives me to stay strong and to stay productive and stay living my dreams. And you may have whatever motivations you have, and I respect them. But for those of you that have a similar belief and mindset, it is your responsibility to get healthy. Because the universe needs you in this. We need you. I need you. I don't know who you are, but I know you're part of the plan. So I need you to hold up your end of the bargain. So with that said, I believe in you. You can do this. Share this video. And to your health, be well.